Buzz's Retirement Garage. It's a pretty nice Sunday here in Cleveland, Ohio. One day before the eclipse, when the moon eclipses the sun. That should be fun. Today's video, top 5 reasons you should be positive in retirement. Now, let me tell you, in today's world, in yesterday's world, it's easy to be negative. They coined the phrase negative Nelly for a reason, right? But I think we need to be positive as much as we possibly can. And let me tell you, during my 6 months of retirement so far, here's how I feel about it. And number one, the transition. The transition for me from working at what I called 90 miles an hour to 5 miles an hour after retirement, and I'll here to tell you that was tough. That was tough. That was something I had to get used to. January and February were tough months for me because I'm in Cleveland. The weather's bad. It's cold. If it's not snowing, it's cold or it's rainy, and you're kind of stuck inside. And I haven't been stuck inside for month-long periods in a long time. So that was tough to take. But even then, you had to take the positive out of that. You had to look at, you're not going to work. You're waking up without an alarm clock. So the number one slightly negative is the transition period. But once you get past that, it's all positive, in my opinion. You can look at any subject or any issue and see the negative or downside of it. But I choose in my retirement to look at everything in a positive light. Number two, more availability for family and friends. I've got my brother and his wife coming from Washington next week. And you know, they sent out a group text and they said, hey, can we go to this restaurant next Monday the 15th? Yeah, what am I doing? Let me check my calendar, right? I'm not doing squat. So yeah, I can be there. My wife and I will be there, no problem. You have availability. My daughter called me up. She came back from Florida. Instead of taking an Uber, she called me and said, hey, or texted me and said, hey, can you pick me up at the airport, me and my friend? And I said, absolutely. I'm not doing anything. So luckily I wasn't out shopping or doing something. But yeah, more time for family and friends. It's really nice. Number three, stop and smell the roses longer. What does that mean? That means, you know, when you're working, you have between getting ready for work, working, coming home, going through your motions of what you need to do, and preparing for the next day. You only have a few hours. When you're out on the weekend, you know, you're trying to get this done or that done. You've compressed everything into those couple days. That Saturday and Sunday, if you work a regular type job, you're off on Saturdays and Sundays. If you're a barber, sometimes you're off on Wednesday, right? But yeah, Saturdays and Sundays, you're trying to compress so many things into just those 48 hours. And you're not really taking the time to smell the roses, as they say, right? Now in retirement, you can, whoa, look at that bird. Wow, what kind of bird is that? Now I can sit here and I can think, geez, that's a cool looking bird. Let me go get my bird book. Let me go check and see what that is. You know, instead of just, yeah, nice bird, and rushing off, you can now take the time to smell the roses, to check out the birds, to do those things that you really didn't take the time to do before. Number four, we talk about this all the time. Every retiree you heard on videos or your friends or whatever, it's the less stress. And let's compound that a little bit more here. When we say less stress, do you remember when you went to work, or while you're working, if you're watching this while you're still working, what's the two things that are a common thread? A common thread when you're at work. One, negativity about work, right? And gossip. Those are basically two things that everyone can share because you have this, you're all at the same place. So you tend, not everybody, but people tend to focus on the negative aspects of their job. She came back from lunch late. He's taken off early. It has no effect on you. It has no effect on your job or what you do or how you perform. But someone's got to tell you that. Someone's got to say, he or she's doing this. He or she did that. Hey, did you hear? You don't need to deal with that in retirement. You don't have to listen to that negativity or that gossip. You're trying to do your job, getting your paycheck for your family, and sometimes you have to put up with that. And you don't want to offend the people or make them mad, so you kind of nod your head and you kind of go along with it. You don't have to do that when you're retired. You're dealing with a lot less people in retirement. And what I found funny, I posted this comment a couple weeks ago. I found funny, I have a little bit of a jovial attitude now, and I had before, but now when I meet somebody, I like sort of bust their balls a little bit, kind of a thing. And I'm at Home Depot, and the checkout guy, he's been there for probably a decade. As I go into, he doesn't know me, but as I go into Home Depot, I've seen him quite a few times. I think he's working full time there, like I said, for the last decade. And I just asked him as we were checking out, I said, hey, how long you been here now? Kind of give him the old, hey, how you doing? How long you been here? I just work here. I don't know. Really? Okay. So that's weird. And it's the stress and his, I don't know what it was, but his angst about working. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe something was going on in his life, but he took it out, he didn't take it out on me, but he was curt and almost to the point of rude, because you're supposed to be customer service, but I blew it off, right? It's no big deal to me, but in retirement, I don't have that. I just don't have that. I really don't. I try not to watch too much of the news. I just stay in my own little bubble, right? I stay in my own little world in retirement, and it's a lot less stressful to do it that way. And probably 5, projects and purchases, which I've talked about in my couple previous videos. I now have time. I'm looking at this garden. You can't see it, but my garden's a wreck. And I got to the point where the last few years, I haven't even weeded. So what I do is I just grow tomatoes because that's all I had time to do. I bought tomatoes at Mark's, or I grew some. This year I've got about 50 plants in the basement under the grow light. But I let the grass grow in the garden because I didn't want to weed. I've tried straw, I've tried the paper, I've tried all kinds of different things. Finally, I just gave up on it. And if you plant tomatoes, you can have grass because I just weed whack around the area, and then I get down with clippers, hand clippers, and I clip around the plants. So when you look at my garden, it's nothing but tomato plants and grass. So maybe I should plant the other grass and have a cash crop, right? But no, so this year I get to take down everything, fix up the fence, and do everything right, rototill it correctly, and put the, maybe get some different soil for it, and I can really do the project of growing something, Before, like I said, just kind of half-assed it, and for the first time in many, many years, now I can do it the proper way. Purchases, if you saw my birdseed video, I can sit back now and look at every purchase I make and take the time to make the right decision based on good information, right? So you do, you go online and you figure out, okay, you're gonna buy a toaster. What's the best toaster, and I used to do that, and I still do, but now I can take that to an extra degree and make sure that I'm buying the right thing and paying the right price. So you have more time to do that. All I can tell you is you need to stay positive. If you're a positive person, retirement's going to be great for you, because when you take away that stress and you're working on projects and you're doing different things and you're more available to your family, your positive attitude multiplies. I'm telling you, it multiplies. Now, if you're a negative Nelly and that's just the way you've been all your life, and there are people out there that are like that, maybe you should stay at work. And I don't mean that facetiously. I mean that from my heart, because if you're a negative person and you retire and you have nobody to vent to and you have nobody to really that wants to really listen to you, because your work friends were probably the ones that you vented to the most, you're probably better off just continuing to work, collect some more money, and then retire when you think you're ready. But if you're a negative person, I don't recommend retirement. I just don't. That's my feeling about it. But positive, retire all day long. Anyway, Buzz's Retirement Garage, those are my thoughts for Sunday. We'll see what the eclipse does tomorrow. Hopefully in Cleveland we get a little bit of sun and see how things go. I know the Weather Channel keeps focusing on Cleveland. It's kind of interesting. They keep showing that. So if you want to tune into the Weather Channel, you can see our downtown area a little bit. All right, Buzz's Retirement Garage, take care.